All right, what up? One of the big homies, Ray Skater, asked me to go live. So here I is. Uh, I assume you guys want to talk about Rona, as everybody calls it. You know how we do, black folk. uh, Now, there's been some interesting information coming out of different areas and facets of what we would call the urban news. Have a lot of people who have us a lot of attention, who's getting some attention. What up, what up, what up, Polo? So, there is a lot of things that I do not focus on because although I know that there's a lot of trickery going on, Chicago, Detroit hospital, uh, hotspots now, Chicago, Detroit. This is just so weird the way this is happening. Wherever it goes, it's all shut down. Everybody's on quarantine. People rebelling against the quarantine. Then the cops are sent out. Then the cops are sent out to make people go back inside. But the cops are not sent out in quarantine gear. Exactly. Yes, the whole U.S. will become. I'm like, why are the police coming out in just regular police gear? If they're so worried about social distance, like there was a party, okay, so these people were having a party for a 1 year old. And of course, it's in the hood. So these brothers and sisters, pretty much, block traffic just about. Police would have been called anyway because there was, so many cars. And, they were celebrating. And this is what's really interesting how coronavirus has affected even the police. The police didn't arrest anybody. They didn't beat up anybody. They were pretty much telling people go home, and then they were walking in like almost an arm in arm lock, and they had their billy clubs out. Usually, you would have had 30 people go to jail, but there's a mandate to not put people in jail for little things. And people have been going to jail and then to prison and then not coming home over traffic tickets. We've seen this over and over again where a traffic ticket isn't even a arrestable offense. It depends on how bad it is, but like for just like a turn signal, you know, we lost people over turn signals. Like they're dead. The police killed them over a turn signal. So we're not seeing that. We're not seeing this holding people imprisoned for jaywalking and all this. If people are getting arrested, they're getting arrested and getting right back out. Now, they still are taking your vehicle if you get arrested. And then, of course, you still have to pay $700, $800 to get that vehicle out of the pound. So it is still a form of extortion, 100%. You're still being extorted. There are people who still have to pay rent, namely me. My whole complex, we got a letter, you still have to pay rent. That doesn't bother me too much because of where my money comes from. But for the people who are not working, they were told to go to the office and work out some kind of deal. So, that's going on. I mean, Rona has hit everybody. Coronavirus has hit everyone. As far as the hotspots are concerned, of course, they're going to hit every major city. Every major city is going to get hit. Uh, you're going to see the death toll go up in every major city, but it's just weird how it's moving to me. It just seems to be moving. It doesn't seem to be moving like a living entity. It seems to be moving like an orchestrated, movement. Doesn't seem to be. It's just Okay, so let's take people in the South. Let's take Florida. We know it hit Gainesville, right? How many of you seen a bunch of reports on Gainesville? How many of you know how many deaths happened? How many people were affected in Gainesville, Florida? We know it hit Gainesville. We've seen people making videos about, being sick. We know it's there. We know it's in the South. How many of you seen or heard a bunch of news and you've heard the governors and senators and people talking about Florida? Yeah. You haven't looked because the media hasn't spread it. The media hasn't spread it. They just haven't. We know it hit there, but here's the thing. You hear all about New York and how many, bodies are dropping in New York. Then Chicago. You hear about the whole state of California. But even, I've heard, I don't know if it was Como or one of them recently said that New York is like a state, like the city of New York is like a state. It's like because of how many people are pretty much cramped in one place. And that's how they look at New York City. And he also said because of the financial district in New York and, all the finances coming through there that spread all over the world. So New York is treated, and New Yorkers are treated with some type of hierarchy because of all the business that happens in New York. So their importance, their relevance is more than anyone else's in America. Nashville has a total close to, okay, that was reported. Also, I have a friend of mine that's a Filipino family has it, and one person died here in the U.S. States. That is terrible. Thank you for that information. But you see, we're getting a bunch of this information out of New York. We're getting a bunch of this information out of California. Where all those 40 million is locked down. But I'm not saying that COVID-19 is fake. I don't believe it's fake. I believe it's real. But I believe this is orchestrated. And this is not to get people on a conspiracy theory tip. I just believe that there's so much going on than just a disease that hit us. And, this is a disease that we've known about for a long time. It's on the back of Lysol cans. We've known about this for the longest. The public hasn't known about it because how many of us read the back of Lysol cans to see what Lysol fights? We don't. We just know the basic germs that are in our house. We don't know them all. We know Lysol kills 99.9 because we're all commercialized. We're just like, Lysol is going to kill whatever this is. This little dirt patch right here, get some Lysol. Get some Clorox. Get some bleach. Can you tell me what is on the back of a bleach bottle? What does bleach kill? No, you can't. Because we don't turn the back of the bleach bottle over and go, bleach kills all these things. We just don't. We know what the commercial says, and to use it for certain items, and then we use it and it happens. That's enough truth for us. We're buying it. It worked for what we needed it for. If this problem comes up again, we're going to go buy the same product and boom. People have been buying Lysol, you know what I'm saying, and spraying it and killing whatever. But now Lysol kills something that's killing you immediately within, a few days for some people. Lysol's killing this. It's just like something's just not right. Because now we are at the extreme. The whole world is on lockdown. The world, not a state, not a city, not a county. The planet is affected. The planet has shut down. I've been to some places on this planet where I would have never thought, never in a million years, that there would be no people here. I've been to Buckingham Palace. I've lived in Germany. I've been to France. Man, listen, you go to France, you just can't believe how many people are there. They have signs in France saying tourists go home because the French are tired of how many tourists are there. It is just unreal of how many nationalities are just right in that spot when you get off the train when you come into France. You come from English, if you take the English Channel, it's a train that goes up underwater, boom. Yeah, this is a different strand. This is an engineered strand. I understand that. I understand that 100%. 100%. This is an airborne strand. I get that. That's what they're telling us. I get it 100%. But nonetheless, you think if Lysol, you think if you had a petri dish or if you had something that COVID 19 was on and you took some Lysol and you sprayed that, you think that those germs would live? The airborne strand. Even if you had the strand that wasn't airborne, you think if you sprayed it, both of them, that one would live and one wouldn't? No, they would both die. They would both die like a germ. They would both kill off. And that's it, and that's all. It doesn't matter if it's airborne. They would both die from Lysol. Uh, that's what I'm saying. It just, all these movies, Contagion. There's even a movie about COVID 19 killing people. There is an actual movie on Netflix about it that came out back in 2018. It's an Asian movie. How apropos. About this same thing, coronavirus coming out and killing a bunch of people and being a contagion. Came out in 2018. Name and everything. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So, some people are saying, well, it's not actually the coronavirus that's killing. You have been reaching out to other people that I know in different states. Yeah, tell us what are the results. What else? What up, entertainment? How you doing, my brother? You entertainment is a truck driver, I believe. Yeah, we got another. I think Polo's on here. If Polo's on here, Polo's a truck driver too. Yeah, and I can't see this other name. Let me get my glasses. I'm sorry, you guys. My eyes are not. Uh, so I was listening to. Let me see this entertainment. Blast No '06. What up to everybody? So I was listening to this person on World Star Hip Hop. He said this is all because of the G5. The G5 towers are killing everybody. And we can't say that G5 has nothing to do with this. I was even talking about the G5 yesterday, the G5 towers. Uh, but I don't know a lot about that. It's just way out of the scope of my interest, even. But he was saying that the waves that are set up are attacking people's cardiovascular system and pretty much making them fall out. He said no virus has attacked people's cardiovascular system and made them fall out in the street. And I was starting to think, well, that's not exactly true. Asthma will attack your cardiovascular system and you will fall out in the street. Do you think they will have martial law shooting down everything? You're not the only person who's asked me that. You're not the only person who's asked me that. And I was just talking to some guys. They just came and wait a minute. Let me read this. Yeah, our base tested sites right now. A few people had symptoms. Okay, yeah, that's what's up, Junior. Our base. Okay, you said your base. Okay, are you in the military? Young Link, are you in the military? Okay, let me ask you. Okay, boom, Air Force. Now we have some. Okay, so I was in the military 30 years ago. We have somebody who's in the military now. This is a good question. So the question is, and I'm gonna direct it to you because I can give my opinion, but like I said, I haven't been in a long time. So the question is, do you think the military is going to start taking over different cities? Do you think they're going to exact martial law? And do you think that they're going to use extreme violence on the people? While you're answering that, I'll answer also. In my opinion, the answer is yes. The answer is 100% yes. 100%, absolutely. I've been saying this for weeks, for almost a month now. Do not play with these people. But I think people really want to know, are they going to implement a vaccine in there? Are they going to make you take the vaccine? And are they going to come to your house, and are they going to come to your house and say, you're going to take this vaccine? That was a movie called Ebola. Are they going to come to your house and and make you take the vaccine? All of that is highly possible. I can't say, yeah, I believe that's going to happen, but at the rate that we're going at this point, at the rate that we're going, absolutely. Especially if you keep listening to the advisor to the president of the from the CDC or the World Health Organization, Ducey, or whatever his name is. You keep listening to that guy, yeah, yeah, it's about to get bad. It's about to get real bad. Yes, I believe so. It's only so much I can say, but yes, it will happen. It might be a civil war going to boom. All right, so there you have it, folks. There you have it. Might be a civil war going on between the U.S. and citizens, and a military force to vaccinate will occur. No, known as nope, 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 nope. I'm not. You better choose your sides right now, because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You better choose your. You better choose you the ye this day right now. You better make up your mind right now. My wife works at the hospital. One of the doctors and several nurses have attracted coronavirus. It is spreading through the hospitals. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. So, does your wife have it? Oh man, entertainment. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. My neighbor, his wife works for Children's Hospital up here. And, because I have a few masks laying around here, and I was like, does your wife need a mask? I have another neighbor. He works at a hospital, you know. So I asked him if he needed a mask. And the post office lady, I gave her a mask. But, bro, that 666 chip is no, is, look, here's one thing we can't say. We can't say we didn't know this was coming. We can't look at people who are talking about this and saying that they're alarmists. We can't look at people who are not talking about it and saying they're just stupid, like they're sheeple. We can't say that they're ignorant. We can't, because we've known all about this type of thing. It's been all over YouTube. Even YouTube tried to censor this stuff. People talking about this stuff. Everybody knows about it, but nobody knew when it was coming. And now it's at our front door. We're seeing it happen. We can't act like it's not happening. G5, my Muslim friends told me about G5. It would mess up a lot of stuff. Yeah, in airways, brainwaves. I'm still lying about it. Nah, I think anytime you mess with uh, the airwaves, because we are, look, just the way that we're built, we have more than, five senses. I think we have more than six. We're very in tune with the planet that we live on. You can be having a great day, and then all of a sudden your whole mood can change just because of a song that you heard. That's a vibration. Just because of somebody standing next to you, that's a vibration. We are very in tune with vibrations. Everything is moving. Our body is constantly moving. Our cells are constantly vibrating at one frequency or another. So, frequency will definitely disrupt the human body in one shape, form, or fashion. We all know this. This is not a secret. So yeah, I believe that 5G can do that. Heck, I believe 4G was doing it. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like no radio wave can't affect the human. Absolutely. We know that it can. And we know that the more power you put out, the more it's going to affect us. We know that if we speak to somebody in a certain tone, that frequency is going to cause them to react in a certain way. It's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. Or it could be an even tone. If you're on their frequency, then they'll agree with you. If you're not on their frequency, you're going to have some type of disagreement. We already know this. So G5 messing with people's brainwaves, there's no look, all of a sudden everybody's ADD, all their kids are ADD. What the hell are you talking about? We never heard of ADD when we was a kid. We went outside, we played, we had a good time, we came back in, we ate, watched cartoons, and fell asleep. That's what we did. We go to school. We listen. I was acting out in school. They didn't say I had ADD. You know what they did? You know what my teacher did? She sat on me, and that was it. No more ADD. I learned my lesson. This big white chick was sitting on me. I learned my lesson. I calmed the hell down and did whatever they wanted. Was my concentration off? Absolutely, because I'm an artist. That's just the way artists are. My mind was in three different places. I suck at math, but I have a college degree. You know what I'm saying? It took me 2 times to go through my math classes, but I already knew that was going to happen because I can't concentrate on one thing at one time. I never could, but I am not attention deficit, whatever, and I need some damn medicine. No, but I can write 3 songs at once very easily. I can start off on one song, start off on another, start on, come back to it, boom, 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 boom. That's still just the way my mind thinks. It's not a problem, it's a talent. And what they're doing to these kids and stuff like that, who are all coming out and they're saying that these kids are messed up and giving them these pills, that's messing up their frequency. That's messing up their talent. So yeah, I believe that putting up these towers right next to people's houses, that's pushing out all of this power. Listen, this isn't the first time in human history this has happened. You go back and look at Egyptian history. This has happened before, where they put out immense power by using towers. Listen to Nikolai Tesla and how he figured out how to use electricity and how much and what he said about electricity is already in the air. It's free. He was making currents that ran right through his body. He would just touch one thing and touch something else, and the current ran right through him, and it didn't harm him at all. That didn't help with J.P. Morgan and them guys. And they saw this, they was like, oh no, we're not doing that. We need to make money off of people. And there's people who are still using that system today. So one guy is homeless. He's in LA, as a matter of fact. And he's like, I know how to make generators. This guy's on the corner making generators. And when he started making them, he started giving them to other homeless people. He had a TV. He had everything set up outside, no cords whatsoever. Nothing hooked up and stealing power, none of that. He had his own generator that he made. And he would put up a big old sign saying, come, let me show you how to do this. The police came and took that sign down and started blocking him. Started making sure that people, wouldn't, get in his area. And then they went and took all his generators. They just straight up robbed him. They took all of his stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of foulness going on. But here we are today. We need to prepare. And I hate to say this, but we need to prepare for war. Listen, some of you guys go back and listen to some of my videos from years ago. I was talking about stuff like this. But I'm not a conspiracy theory. I'm a realist. I deal with the facts. I deal with what's actually happening. And then I take that and look at what has happened in history and going, there's a good chance that this is going to repeat itself. I always go back to Rome. What do I think? What do I think of what? What do I think of what? Entertainment. Man, Young Link just hit us with a bomb. I have a friend. She was in the Air Force. She was in intelligence, and she couldn't tell us what she did. All she could say that she was in intelligence. Okay. 5G also has nanonites. Okay, used to enter the bloodstream, and okay, brain for the military to use. It can affect lungs, cause immune systems to attack itself, known as cytokines, cytokine storms. Jeez, bro. How do you defend? Okay, so let's talk about this in reference to that. The police, this is rumor mill. I don't know this. The police have a weapon that will probably be deployed soon where they use sound for crowd control. But it won't be to tell you to go home. It won't be a bullhorn, go home. It'll be pretty much to take you out. And they're going to use sound. It'll be on a truck, and it'll be this big whatever machine, and it'll be something that you can hear, but the sound isn't like the immense sound, the boom of it. It's not what's messing you up. It's something that it emits and gets into your system and then causes you to act one way or another and or pretty much to die. So I've heard of this. We know we have been, as far as the police are concerned, we have seen an uptick in violence with police. We know that we have seen an uptick in military presence long before the coronavirus was a thing. We've seen heavy shipments of military vehicles coming into our states and into our cities, and we didn't even know why. Uh, there are a lot of weapons out there that can be used to take us out of here in an instant. And all these cities that are being shut down, I am starting to be fully convinced that one of these cities is going to become ground zero uh, for one of these tests. And I think when that happens, I don't think nobody in their right mind is going to say it's not happening. And I think that's when all the chaos is going to begin. We have 12 militias here in the United States. One of them right up the street from me, Michigan. One of the biggest. They're armed to the teeth, uh, just looking for a fight. We saw what happened in Denver, how the militia took over, uh, a federal site, and the federal boys had to go out there and kill a couple people. And they were mad over land because they're farmers or whatever is going on. They had a legitimate complaint, but they did everything wrong. So we know there are people out there who are heavily armed and they are ready to run anybody over who's in their way. The problem with the small folk like me, the regular citizen who's not running around with, M16s and all this, the problem with that is, we're unarmed. So we're not, we're not prepared for this type of violence. And what it looks like to me is we're going to be caught in the middle. That's what it looks like to me. We're going to be caught in the middle of two different armies, both of them fighting on U.S. soil. And like I said, this has happened before. This has happened in human history in France when Napoleon took over. We've seen it happen in Rome. We've seen it happen in Africa. It just China. We've seen it happen in Japan. It's a thing. It is a constant human. I don't know. It's just like we build this empire and then we collapse. The whole empire collapses on itself. And I've been talking about this for a minute, especially when it comes to the jail systems. There is a standing army that's in the jail system. There are 2 million people that are in the jail systems, and you're feeding them 3 times a day, and they're in there getting strong. If all those people decide to come out and fight for one reason and for one side, you have a standing army. We have been in the house quarantine. They have sent several people home. It's been about 3 weeks, close to a month. The grocery stores are running out of food. Home cleaning supplies. I told you guys, when the grocery stores start running out of food, this is when it's going to get hectic. As a matter of fact, I'm going shopping again today. I really don't need anything, but I want something else. I'm just, listen, I started coronavirus shopping. I even started making videos about a month ago. And I would just go and grab 4 cans, of whatever, plus whatever I was going for. So if I was going to get, some cereal, I would grab 4 cans of canned goods and okay. And then I started to get a little something in my closets. I was feeling good. And I was like, okay, I'm good. And then, I had 2 of my little cupboards. I was like, I'm okay. And the Lord told me, He said, you're not even close. I went out and spun so much money on food and supplies. And He still told me I didn't have enough. I'm telling you guys right now, prepare yourself. I even had a dream that I went out and bought a gun. So I went to the gun shop the next day. The gun shop was out of bullets. They had guns. They didn't have no bullets. I keep having these dreams. I've been having them for over 10 years. Water coming and flooding Chicago City being totally submerged. I made videos about it. And the reason why I made these videos is not to say if I'm right or wrong. I made these videos because, for one, I'm not the only person having these dreams. So I wanted to document when I was having these dreams so other people can go, I'm having the same dream, and then over and so, and we don't even know each other. We're in different states, never met each other. So someone is talking to us in our dreams and telling us things that we should be prepared for. Like, I have a bunch of food. I do not have enough food. I don't. I'm going shopping today. I'm not even sure what's there. But I'm gonna go, and I don't know. I got 2 refrigerators. I just sold one a couple minutes ago. Uh, Hell, I might go and buy another refrigerator. But I've been telling people, if you can get yourself on some MREs, get some, because they last forever. They don't taste good, but who cares about what tastes good? Protect your family. It's a good chance your neighbor has a weapon. So now you have to get one because your neighbor might be your enemy. And I sure hate for my neighbors to be my enemies. I know they all pack. I know they got shotguns and handguns. I really don't. That's not how I live. For one reason, when I get a gun in my hand, I just don't like the feeling. I don't like the energy that comes off of it. I don't like the potential. I don't like the spirits to start talking to you every time somebody pisses you off. You go to draw your weapon, and I just don't like it. But you might need one. I think I think we all should start thinking about the worst case scenario, but not panicking, but being smart. That's what I think. I think playtime is over, and you and your family. I mean, nobody can travel now, but you and your family, wherever they're at, should stay in communicate as long as you can. If you can still order stuff off of eBay, which I think you can, or whatever, get what you need because I think they're still delivering packages. And I'm going to give you, thank you for the info now. I understand what I'm going through when it comes to doing 3 to 4 different things. Yeah, you don't have a attention deficit disorder. You have talent. That's what you have. There's nothing wrong with you. As a matter of fact, there's more right with you than wrong. So when you're doing something and you stop doing it and then you start doing something else and you stop doing it and then you go over here and do it, next thing you know, you switch back to what you were doing in first place. That's supposed to happen. This is probably why you couldn't pay attention in school. This is probably why math is probably isn't your strong suit, but artistry is. Stories and things like that. You can comprehend. It gives you the ability to see things before they happen. It does. See, okay, let's look at not necessarily right and left brain, but that's how some doctors would say it. Let's look at right and left brain. If you have somebody who is good at math, and then you start telling them something that they can't see that you know is going to happen simply because in your vision you have seen 3 or 4 different events happen and you correlated them all and you know it's going to come to one point, it's going to come to one head. You already know this is going to happen. And then not only that, you've seen it happen before. And then you tell someone who is, really good at math, really didactic, really straightforward. I know a lot of these people and they're really, really smart in their field. But when you start talking to them like that, they're lost. They look at you like a deer with the headlights because they just don't get it. And then they ask, how did you know that? See, there's nothing wrong with you. You're talented. You're built like that because there needs to be us. There needs to be them. That's what makes all of us a unit. You can't have one type of person that's all over the planet. It's boring, you know. And God is not boring. He needs people to think in different ways. This is how messages get through. This is how empires are built. This is how empires crumble. So there's nothing wrong with you. But we need to start thinking about the end game. We do. For most of us, we don't have places to hide other than our apartments, and we know that this is not ours. They can come and kick us out at any time. As a matter of fact, we got a letter that they sent us out email saying that if the maintenance guy comes to your house for an emergency, you need to go outside. I've been living here for almost 10 years and I've never seen anything like that before. Why would the maintenance come to our house and we need to go outside? You have little Bootsy and people like that talking about do not put all your money in the bank and trust the bank. I am totally in agreement with that. Have yourself a couple dollars on you, so if you don't have any money on you, but you have money, go to the bank now. Go to the bank now. Don't go and put it on your Cash App. Don't go and put it on a different card and be running around with that card. I didn't have Bro, I can talk about that all day. I can talk about your ability all day. So if you got yourself, 100, 200 bucks, you know what I'm saying, stashed away, not flashing it on Instagram, stashed away. That's enough money to, if you need to leave and the currency is still good, if you need to get up, if there is a form of transportation that allows you, if you can still buy gas, if your vehicle is still running, you can't tell me you can't cross the whole doggone countryside with $200 worth of gas. You can get from one place to another with $200 worth of gas. Gas is not that high yet. So I'm telling you, if you got yourself a couple $100, you know, in your pocket, stashed away somewhere, not everybody knows. As a matter of fact, nobody knows. You're the only, your wife doesn't know. And some of y'all not going, y'all, I don't hide nothing from my wife. It's not hiding it from her. Yeah, it's not hiding it. Yo, you especially, Junior, you especially take that information, because the way the military pays you, if they still pay you the same, they pay you electronically. They don't pay you in cash. They pay you electronically. The military can stop that in a heartbeat. Not only that, the military can go into your account. I remember when I was in the military, they were able to go into my account and take something. See, you are very, very vulnerable because you are owned by the military. You are their property. If you don't believe it, go AWOL and see what happens. You'll get Article 15 and they'll throw you in jail. You belong to the military. So at this point, you need to take some money out the bank. It's not going to look strange. If you got yourself a good $500, take that money, put 200 in one place, 200 in another place, 100 in another place that you are close to, but nobody else knows about. And I'm not telling you to hide something from your spouse. I'm not. As a matter of fact, I would tell my spouse to do the same thing. I would. If I had a wife, I'd be like, go to the bank, get $500 and hide it. Just hide it. That's all I would tell her. I wouldn't say hide it here, hide it there. I would say hide it. That's it. She knows where it's at. She's good. She's not hiding it from me. Just hide it. Make it happen now, today. You're not doing nothing. Get off the phone. Get off the internet. Go. Get it now, today. Don't wait till tomorrow, because if they close those doggone banks, you're going to have a fit. You're going to be thinking, I should have done this. No. Do it now. There's a cubby hole somewhere. There's a little spot in the grass somewhere. There's somewhere where you pass by all the time that nobody would think there's $100 there. At least $500. Get yourself $500 today. Today, don't get off my live and don't do it, because I'm telling you, you are the most vulnerable out of all of us. You are, because you're not your own. You're not. You're owned by the military. They tell you when to go, when to do whatever. If the military deployed you right now, you'd have to leave. And you would have to leave everything you know behind. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know what you do for the military, but if they say, yo, Junior, we got to go. If the Sarge comes, knocks on your door, we got to go. Or you get that phone call, you can't tell me you'll say no. You have to leave your wife, kids, whatever situation that you have. It's not our business. You need to go. So I'm just telling you to have access, as long as the current currency is still number one and it still is being accepted. Have yourself $500 and don't put it all in one place. But Let this be $500 that you could lose and you're still okay. If you don't know what I mean by that, you don't know what I mean by that. If this is your last $500 and you put it somewhere and you lost it, you're screwed. So don't take $500 if $500 is all you have. New York City is considered ground zero. Exactly. What's up, Polo? Don't take $500 if it's your last $500 and then hide it somewhere and then somebody, in your house comes and, nah, don't do that. Take yourself 200 if that's the case. Have three in the bank, 200 bucks, hide it somewhere just in case the fits hits the shan. Boom. We got 200 bucks. Let's roll. I don't care if you have to walk it out. Yeah, this virus is something else. I don't care if you have to walk it out. We have to think about the end game. We have to think about where we live. We have to think about if the military comes knocking at our door. Because we're not going to be able to resist. If they start rolling up in Humvees and black vans and all this other stuff, you're not. It's not going to be a shootout. We already know what the end of that's going to be. If they come up and start snatching people, they're gonna, is what it is. The doctor said we are extremely far from progress on the virus. But you know what? I was looking at a live today, and a stewardess said she had COVID-19, and then she said she was treated. She was making progressive videos. She had one where she's doing bad, and then she had another one where she said, I got treated. So there is something that they're treating people with. We're starting to see a lot of people who are, I even had a video of, there was like 900 people who were, I think this was in Europe somewhere. And people were clapping as people were coming out, on wheelchairs, but nonetheless, they were coming out. A bunch of people coming out because they were healed. So there are people getting healed. But now it's not so much about COVID-19. Now it's about what our government is trying to do to us. And listen, I'm not anti-government because the government, look, we need a government. But we need a government that's on our side. Let's just face it. We need a government that's transparent. We don't need a government that's not telling us what in the hell is really going on. That's the biggest problem with our government. There are so many secret missions. There's so many, things that they've done. And we're like, we know that you're doing stuff. We know that there's aliens. We know this. We know that there are flying saucers. We know this. If you didn't see that one that was in, where was it at? It was in the freaking guy showed up in the news. For another month, oh brother, they're gonna expand lockdown longer than that. It's gonna be longer than that. What was that alien ship spotted? It was so doggone big they couldn't even measure it. It was in the news. And we knew it wasn't, we knew there was nothing man made that was that huge. The thing was just colossal. It looked like something off of one of Will Smith movies or something. It was just ridiculously big. Arizona. It was in Arizona. So we know the government is hiding stuff from us. They've been hiding stuff from us. They won't tell us the truth. Some of us have worked for local government. Some of us has worked for the military. We still don't get all the information. It's just some stuff that you're just not privy to. Now we know that the government can come and march in and, goose step right down the street and pretty much do what they want with us. They have ammo here in Texas, brother. Oh, well, you guys always have ammo. It's Texas. I had only went to one store where they were sold out, but it was the biggest, gun store where they were talking about the biggest gun store. I didn't go to that particular one. Was sold out of ammo. So I'm gonna end up buying and registering me a handgun. Lucid dreaming. So I'm gonna. I don't know what that means. So I'm gonna. Well, I'd probably buy a shotgun actually, but I'm gonna end up. And I was looking at getting an AR-15. That's what I really want. I want either a 9 millimeter or a Glock, and then I want the old AR-15 to make me you know feel like I have my old military weapon back, my old M16. But M16s are 20 G's. AR-15, you can get one of those for $600-700. Nonetheless, so I'll figure that out. But now, like I said, we need to start thinking about the end game. We need to start thinking about, if we get marched on, what are we going to do? Where can we flee to? How can we get away? It'd be like fleeing one of these fourth and fifth world countries. It'd be like trying to get out of Mogadishu. That's exactly what it would be like. Where do we go? Do we flee to Mexico? For those who live in Texas, that's an option. Do we, swim back across the water if we're in Miami and go to Cuba? What do we do? You know what I'm saying? Where would the mass exodus be? For those who live in the middle of the country, like myself, there's no mass exodus. It would be hiding somewhere. So if it all hits the fan and they come knocking on our doors and snatching people, I'm hiding because I can't run. I can hide. There are deep and dense woods where I live. I live in Ohio, so you know there are dense woods where I live, where there are still a lot of living creatures, but living off of animals is not the easiest thing. So that's, I mean, it's not actually a plan, but it's the only thing that I could do. If I had to leave here, I would have to hit the woods. Heads up, whenever you leave your home, make sure that all your doors are locked and secure, and you never know who's watching your house to steal your food and other items with the food shortage. This is true. I've always, I've already been. Amazon's going on strike. GE is protesting. They don't want to go back to work. All right, I need to hit the gun store. I'm going to the gun store. You might need one, but train who on how to shoot? Train me on how to shoot? You really think I need training on how to shoot? I'm ex-military, baby. Shoot. Yeah, not unless I get a specialty weapon. I get something that I'm just not aware of. But as long as Google is still there, I just Google it. They're like, okay, this is how you shoot a bazooka. But I already know how to shoot one of those. Back blast area all clear. I already know how to shoot one of those. But I'm not trying to get nothing that serious. I'm just trying to protect myself from thieves and people breaking in my house and things along that sort. It hasn't happened yet. I don't think there's been any break-ins yet, but my neighbors already respect me. But uh, yeah, I'm not looking to get into it with none of them, and I know that they all pack steel. I'm just not. I'm not looking forward to that. I would rather negotiate than. Damn, just damn. I hope this doesn't go to where I think it's gonna go. But there's just all signs are just pointing to that direction. Listen, listen, if they shut down, if they shut down the okay, they've already shut down restaurants and stuff, so people are frustrated about that, right? And so I think you can still get stuff delivered to you, which is cool. But I think they're gonna shut that down too. Your last resort for food is, of course, going to the grocery store. Our grocery stores have mandated different hours, so they're not open as long. And I've talked about this before. If the military takes over the grocery store, then they'll just ration out what people need. But if we've already seen the military at grocery stores. But if the military actually takes over the grocery stores, meaning they're the ones who's issuing out rations and things along that line, all they have to do is stop and have a force. That's it. And then once that all runs out, they don't even need to guard the grocery stores anymore. We've already seen videos of truck drivers in long supply lines because they can't get all their supplies out. They're like, and one truck driver said, "We can't get all these supplies out. It's just not going to happen." He said, "I was supposed to be out of here. I'm supposed to be out of here in 2 hours. Look at this long line." So if they hit the supply lines and they stop the supply line, they don't really have to guard the grocery stores for too long. But if they stop the supply lines, see, that's where we have to think now. They stop the supply lines. How long do you think you'll last with the food that you have in your house? How long do you think you'll last? A month? 2? 3 months? Do you think you have 3 months worth of food? With all the people in your house. Take in consideration your diet. What it takes for you to be able to function correctly. Because if you say, "Oh, I could eat, a leaf a day." If you've been eating 3 times a day, which most of you have because you work, so you burning all that energy, you need to keep that fuel going. If you've been eating 3 times a day and then all of a sudden now you're not working as much, you should not be eating 3 times a day. Heavy meals. And I'm talking about big old meals. You should not be eating a full plate every day if you're not spending all that energy. Now you're working backwards. You shouldn't. I'm just telling you now. You should be weaning yourself off of those 3, even though you're going to be hungry, but you're not going to die. You know what I'm saying? You should start eating things that are like high in carbs. You know what? I had started a garden. Every time I think about this, I just want to hurt this guy. I planted an apple tree. It's growing, had it in a pot, grew about that tall, had it outside, and my neighbor came and kicked my plant over. Just then he came and poured like eggs in it, and rotten eggs, and he would put eggs on my porch. And I didn't know who was doing it for a minute. And then, I confronted him. I was like, "Yo, you." He's like, "No, man, I ain't doing that. I just hate the fact that he killed my plant." But here's the thing. My mom. Be careful. You stock up on gas. Gas needs to be ventilated some kind of way. You don't want to have an explosion. So if you do, just have a way for, fumes to escape the house. So if you have yourself a barn, or if you have even a garage, because a garage is not airtight. Uh, yeah, do it, but make sure that there's air able, so if fumes are accumulating, they can, escape without any harm to you. So yeah, do that. Save up on some gas. Uh, I run around with a half a tank of gas. That's usually what I have, because sometimes I have to drive an hour to go pick up some equipment or whatever. But I run around on a half a tank of gas. So I'm probably going to get more than that. Might do that today. Get more than that. Might get 3/4, a little bit more. And I'm thinking about getting a gas can. Thinking about getting me one of them, not 5 gallon, maybe a 10 gallon. And I got a little shed or whatever. I can put that in my shed. It's got enough air running in and out of it. I ain't got to really worry about it. People aren't really breaking into sheds now. When they start, then I'll worry about that then. But right now, I think I might go ahead and throw 10 gallons of gas in it, put it out in the shed. I was looking at a generator. I was also looking at illumination. So I was looking at some of these lights that just take sunlight, and they charge by the sunlight. Then you bring them in the house and you put them on the wall, and they're light up, just in case the power goes out. I've already got a lot of water, but I'm probably gonna get more of that. I want to get one of the big old 5 gallon things of water and just put it in my basement and just have it sit there, just in case. But I got a bunch of water in my kitchen, so I'm gonna show you guys my kitchen. I'm gonna show you guys my kitchen. In case you don't know, not necessarily not know how to prep or be prepped, but I'm gonna show you what I have. And then the Lord said you need more. So if you don't have what I have, and you got yourself about 300-400 bucks in your pocket, you need to hit the store and or a pantry or something. You need to do something, because if you don't, you know, you're gonna be in a way. All right, so this is one of my freezers. All right. I don't forget anything. Okay. Okay. There's my waters. All right. There's my waters. Now, here's my little. So I need more rice, definitely. I got a lot of canned goods though. Got a lot of canned goods, but I could use some more. So I went and got some, chicken. Got a lot of this tuna because you can grab a can of this and be good for a long time because of all the protein that's in it. You know what I'm saying? Beans. You don't even have to cook these. You don't even have to cook these. You can just crack that can open. Boom, you got some energy all day. I got my oatmeal. Of course, you still got to cook that. Here's some more tuna. I'm heavy on that tuna. You got your game. But these yams were cheap. This canned soup, buck 50 each. You know what I'm saying? Just little stuff. Little stuff. More soup, and more soup, and more beans. You know what I'm saying? This will last me for a little bit. But 6 months? Nah. See what I got in here. Got some spaghetti. I believe it's some more. This is some white tuna. Yup. Some more stuff back there. Some more canned soup. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's it for there. And I got my regular refrigerator. Chicken, fish, more of the same, more chicken and fish, some bread. You know what I'm saying? This is my daily eats, whatever. Got some more rice right there, some potatoes, a little bit of bacon. And this I'm gonna fill up. So I got me some old jizzle. I'm gonna get some more of these too, these little potato salads and macaroni salads. I got lots of potatoes, but a little bit of fruit, some more potatoes here. So I could go for 2 months But I'm probably gonna need more because if everything shuts down right now, 2 months, you feel me? So if you guys don't have at least what I have here, then you need to go and get on the ball like right now. Don't get off my live and lay up. Tell them don't pay them no money. I was listen. I wasn't inspired to do all this off of what the news told me. I was inspired to go out and spend all this money off of what the Lord told me. I'm just telling you now. I'm just telling you now. Look, I'm even thinking about getting a generator just in case they cut the power on me. And I've been looking at one of those. Uh, yeah, because I just don't think this is enough food. I don't. I think if I got to go 6 months and everything's closed, oh yeah, I got some ramen noodles. These were very cheap, very cheap, very cheap. Get some of those. But I want to fill this side up with all this. I think once I get this side, this over here, pack some stuff down here. I think I got some water here, yeah. Pack these here. Yeah, I'll be good. I was still thinking about getting not a warehouse, but I was thinking about getting a storage unit. Because like my man Entertainment said, people are gonna start breaking into homes. They already doing that. People already breaking into folks' homes. They'll come in and take your food, your toilet paper. You know, whenever they mess with them supply lines, people is gonna get their houses broken into. And the first place they're gonna go is their kitchen. So you need to have a backup food plan somewhere in your house if you have to. Your shed if you have one. I thought about, like I said, keeping a storage unit, but the storage unit is charging $70. That's just eating into my pockets. I'm like, I can't keep paying you $70 and I'm not really using you like that. So I'm going to, you know, find a place to hide some canned goods. I'm gonna hide them, because they're gonna go in your kitchen, they're gonna hit your basement, they're gonna hit your bedroom, but they're basically gonna hit your kitchen, and they'll stack up real quick. And you're not gonna know who did it, and even if you do know who did it, what are you gonna do? They got your food. You're not getting it back. So the best thing you can do is have another stash. Have another stash somewhere. Like, okay, they got me on that, but I'm still good. I still got 2 months of food over here. And keep your eye open for places that that you hear may have food or, whatever. And if you can, get yourself 6 months worth of grub. And this is not 6 months for just you. This is, you got to think, if all my food is taken, what do I do? So if that leaves you with a year's worth of food, a year's worth of food it is. And some basic stuff too, because you notice I don't have a bunch of fruit and stuff like that. I have stuff that will power this body in a heartbeat. You got to think that way because if you get a bunch of stuff that's not going to allow you to fight physically, walk and miles and have to pick up something heavy. If you mess around with finger food and stuff like that, you're going to be in trouble because sooner or later you'll just be too weak to do anything. You will. Salad is not unless you got some serious protein in that salad. You know, don't. It's not time to be cute. Have things that's gonna power you. Noodles and stuff like that. Noodles will power you. Beans will power you real good. Things along that line. You don't have to have all meat. You just don't. But you got to have a lot of protein to power that body. Just in case you got to put it, you got to put it on somebody, or just in case everything shuts down, you don't have no more gas. But the closest store, just think right now. How close is the closest store to you? How close is the closest food source to you? Is it in walking distance? Could you walk there twice a day? Yeah, black beans, baked beans, absolutely. I got cans of that stuff. Yeah. Where is your nearest food source? A lot of you are gonna think Kroger's or Giant Eagle or Winn Dixie or whatever it is that's in your area. Okay, wherever that food source is, just scratch that off. Wherever that major food source is, you go to buy food. Just go ahead and scratch it off. Just act like there's nothing there anymore. Act like you can't get food from there. It's closed forever. Where are you going now? Where's your next food source? How far is it? How far do you think it is? Now let's just take that secondary. Let's just take that secondary. Go ahead and scratch that off. Take your tertiary, your third choice. Where is it? How far is it from you? Now just take your vehicle and go ahead and scratch your vehicle off because you don't have no gas. How are you going to get to your third choice? Can you physically get to your third choice as you are now? When you look at the food that you have, can your food that you have power your body to walk to your third choice? Your third choice. Can you walk there and back twice a day? And that's how you got to eat. That's how you have to eat. You got to start that now. You got to start calculating that now because you don't want this to come upon you and you not calculate that. Because you might eat too much and you might not need all that energy. But you got to start thinking about that. If you are overweight like me, you got some knee and back problems and stuff like that, you got to consider all that. Can I walk, 2, 3 miles from here? You got to understand everybody else is going to be doing the same thing. Can I get there at 4 o'clock in the morning before everybody else? Can I walk that? That's a 6 mile trip. It's there and back. We'll just start off with 6 miles, there and back. Can you do it? Because if the answer is no, then you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And you need to start rectifying that now. I ain't telling you to go on Jenny Craig or whatever, but I'm telling you if your legs are fine, your arms are fine, but you are a little thick like me, then you might want to get a little tie bow on, you know what I'm saying? Once or twice, try to shave off some of those pounds. Need to go outside around your house, walk in the grass because grass is uneven, so it works your muscles differently. If you have a hill close by, walking up that hill, it'll help you. It'll work your muscles differently. Because when you walk on the sidewalk, you feel like you're walking faster than on the grass. If you're walking in the grass is working your muscles. This is why you find a lot of people who run track will run on the grass first before they actually run on the track. So things along that line, you need to start shaving some of that weight, get some of that down, grab a couple push-ups, Just shave a little bit of that off. You can get rid of 10, 15 pounds. That's going to help you immensely. People don't think like this. We assume stores is always going to be there. Well, see, for me, when I was growing up, we were literally starving. The stomach rumbling we were not strangers to that. Going and looking in the refrigerator and seeing that it was bare was a everyday thing, was a normal thing. There were 8 of us in the household and we were all living on welfare. So we would eat through the first, the first and the first, you get your check on the first and you get one on the 15th. If you get a check on the first, we ate through it by what, maybe the ninth? We just ate that food up. So we were living off the school system. Couldn't wait to go to school because you can get free lunch and breakfast. That's still that way today. You have a lot of poor families who depend on the school system to feed them. So this is why it's hurting a lot of families because it's like, wow, now I have to feed this child here when the school system was feeding this child. This child is going to eat a lot. Them tweens, they eat a lot. So a lot of people are going to be hit hard. This is why it's going to get rough. If these, supply chains just stop, they're already interrupted. But if they stop completely, it's going to turn ugly in light speed. Light speed. It's going to get ugly fast. You're going to see more fighting in the street. And the first thing they're going to say is, we were hungry. You're gonna hear rational people talk about the government, and then you're gonna hear the government making a lot of excuses. We're gonna get the supply chains up running again. No, they're not, because we've already heard the coronavirus wasn't a threat. It's not even gonna be here. It's gonna be over soon. We all know that this is a lie. We all know that. Before the coronavirus even hit here, there was only like 1 or 2 cases. The next day there was like 50, and the day after that it was in the hundreds. The day after that it was traveling through states like it was nothing. Then people started dying. Then the president and Fox News stopped talking about how the flu is worse than Corona 19 because that's not even true. The Corona is a lot more lethal than the flu. They were saying, well, the flu kills, blah, 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 blah. We have ways of treating symptoms of the flu. We didn't have anything for even testing Corona 19. So we were sitting on the laurels of our government, and the government was telling us a bold-faced lie. So if the supply chains go down and they say that they're going to go back up, don't you believe that? Be in full supply, full survival mode. Don't listen to what the president says. Don't tell me, has the president been right so far? Tell me what he's been right about. Name one thing the president has been right about. He's saying this is going to be over in a few months. He's like, it's there for a few minutes, then it'll be over. That's a lie. He thinks he was trying to get people back to work. He said, I think people will be back to work by Easter. You want to go and tell those people who are in the back of a semi truck dead right now that in Brooklyn, New York? Go to New York. Look at that video. They're putting people that are in bags in the back of a truck to go be incinerated. You want to tell them they're going to be at work on Easter? Not going to happen. Do not listen to what the president says. He's not right. He's not right. And I don't know who's advising him. But it's all wrong. And what good is that money going to be if we can't spend it? This stimulus check that they're about to give us? Okay, fine. But let's just say in 2 weeks that the supply chains go down. And it'll start off as a mistake. And you'll hear it on the news. This supply store is, listen, people are already not wanting to go to their jobs because these big warehouses, they know that they can get COVID-19. You got GE is protesting outside talking about, we don't want to go back to work. The GE employees, they're protesting. We don't want to go back to work. What's to stop that from happening to, I don't know, whatever, Procter and Gamble? Isn't that one of the big ones? Procter and Gamble. How about Heinz? What if Heinz shuts down? Kellogg. How about that? What if Kellogg decide to just, we're finished? Gerber's. What if Gerber's calls it quits right now? All of their employees walks out. Freaking Gerber's. You want to talk about some hell to have no fury? Let Gerber's just stop and see what these mothers do. For all these newborns, it would be nothing to shut these places down. Heck, they've spread so much fear about COVID-19, these places might shut down on their own. This is what I'm saying. Government might not have to tell these people to stop. There might be a walk-off. And if there's a walk-off, you can't make those people go back to work, then you're going to see a takeover. You understand the rhythm of things now. We got employees that's already protesting that they don't want to go back to work. Okay, we need you to go back to work, but we're not going back to work. Okay, fine. Don't go back to work. We'll go ahead and supply whatever it is that GE was supplying. Fine. Then they'll take that business model and they'll implement that wherever they damn well please. How many warehouses does Procter and Gamble have in the country? What do they supply? How many people are in those warehouses? How many trucks are going in and out of the supply chains? Knock all of those down to a skeleton crew. We'll supply the people. All those people will either be military or under a military contract. No more civilians. You think the military can't do this? You're out of your damn mind. In a place that has, listen, I used to work as a temp for Honda. Right up the street in Marysville, about an hour from here. Honda. Honda had 2 lines. They run 2 shifts a day, right? Normally. They run 2 shifts a day. They have 2 lines. They put out 500 cars on each shift, maybe just shy of that. Maybe around 470, 480. But we'll just say 500 because sometimes they run a half an hour over on a shift and sometimes they run even longer than that. So if you got an 8-hour shift, you're putting out, and you're going to put out 500 cars on that shift, and you got, 2 lines, you're automatically looking at, 2,000 cars. Ordered already. All over the world. These cars go out, boom, they're already ordered. I'm not sure how many people it took to run this line, but when you see the efficiency of the way that line runs, how on one end of the warehouse, a big truck comes in and drops a big old metal band of metal, just sheet metal, and a crane comes down, takes that metal, boom, takes it to a machine, and then unbands it, and then robots start taking this metal and expanding it, and it start cutting it up. These robots are on tracks like train tracks. So whenever they need to make a different model of car, plus this is where they made Acura too, and they made motorcycles in the factory next to us. So whenever they need something different, they would simply go and grab the robot, push the robot one way or another, switch the head of the robots in order for it to be congruent to what the order of car was that they were going to run for the next 6 months or whatever, and then push the robot back to wherever it needs to be, and then type something in, and that robot would go ahead and start soldering or start welding. It would start welding whatever, and then somebody else would a human would actually come in and spot weld if they had to. But other than that, you would just see these robot arms, and the human is standing there looking at the computer. Most of it was automated. Even the painting. Ain't no human painting. I worked in the paint section. I helped clean it. All robotic. Matter of fact, the more the more I worked there, the less humans you see, the less were needed. So when you look at these big warehouses, now you got to understand that Honda warehouse is a mile in diameter, and it wasn't the only one there. There are other warehouses that are spread all over Ohio that function for that one warehouse. If you go an hour one direction, you'll go to where they actually build the transmission. You go to another place, not even far from the main warehouse, where you get like different parts and stuff like that. It's all a system that once they hit that warehouse, that car is finished. I was a quality control specialist. You see that car roll right off the line, somebody will test it, and then boom, take it right out to the lot. Boom, that car's finished. Mostly automated. You think that the military couldn't take over an automated facility? You think they need what? 5,000 people to do it? You don't. You need a lot less than what you think, especially if you're only going to get out a certain amount of supplies, meaning the supplies you need to supply your army. It would be nothing for the military to step in and take over whatever bread factory, whatever the big boys are. The reason why I mentioned Heinz is because Senator Kerry is married to a Heinz heiress. If you don't understand what that means, Senator Kerry ran for presidency and lost. His wife, in her drunken stupor, is a billionaire Heinz heiress. They did a movie on this back on Netflix about the Chinese turning everything in the warehouse to robots. Well, I actually saw that. I was living in it. Listen, the Chinese run this Honda that I was working at. I was working there all the way up until about 8 years ago. That's when I got my accident and I couldn't work there anymore. I'm gonna tell you something. They told They said that the speed of the average human being was too slow and they needed to produce much more different than robots move faster. Not only that, robots are efficient. Only thing about the robots is they cost more than the human in the initial cost. But the output, see, in the short run, the robot costs more. In the long run, the human costs more. They built in Grand Central Park in New. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Boom! They did exactly what I thought they were going to do. Exactly to the letter. I told you it's going to work. It's gonna be a smooth transition. I'm trying to tell you. And they're all green. They're probably not camouflaged because we're not at war with somebody else. But they're probably very large tents. So they go by GP. They call them GP large, GP mediums, and GP smalls. And I told you when you start seeing that, man, I'm trying to tell you, it you guys look. I know I'm just some old guy on the internet. You guys never met me. Some of you have been following me for a long time. I appreciate it. I don't look at it as you follow me. I look at it as we've been internet homies. What up, dog? What up? That's why I look at it because we've been sharing information for the longest. Uh, but please, please don't think I spend hours on the internet talking to you guys just for nothing. I'm not doing this to listen to myself talk. I'm doing this because you guys need this information. You guys need to know how this works. And I'm afraid for us. At first, I was just hoping that this stuff wasn't going to happen. But I kept having military flashbacks on going into the field, and I'm just like, wait a minute. The military is about to get involved, and if the military gets involved, there is a protocol that they follow, and they follow it to the letter. Listen, I was a cook. We had recipes that we had to follow in order to cook bacon. And you can be court-martialed if you cooked it the wrong way. You understand what I'm saying? An egg, if you don't scramble this egg according to this form that they have, and somebody sees that, they could be like, Article 15. You're getting punished for a scrambled egg. That's how serious the military is now. I've never known nobody to do that, but it's been threatened to me before. They're like, you need to cook this way. If you don't, you can get in trouble. So I'm telling you guys, the military is serious. It's not fun and games. It's not Tom Cruise, and all this. It's not Rambo and all this other bull crap movies that you see. Arnold Schwarzenegger shooting up 90,000 people and he's the hero. They have turned work warehouses in the hospitals. One example in Detroit that used it for automotive. Yep, it's coming down the pipe. Just like I said. Now you're gonna start seeing uh, you're gonna start seeing people who are highly ranked. You're gonna see you're gonna see people. You're gonna okay, and you're gonna see this in the video. They use it for hospitals. Yeah, they need the space. I told you they were gonna do that. I told you they were going to take over facilities because of we talked about this 3 days ago. I said they're going to take over the facilities. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. I told you they were going to take over these facilities, and when they take these facilities over, they're facilities that are already makeshift. They're just going to run in there and use those facilities for whatever they have. That's just that's what I would do. So there's no brainstorming in that. But you're also going to see these tents. And those tents are not for accident. Those tents are to let you know who is now in charge. When you see the military set up, the military might is behind it. That's it, and that's all. These are regular Army people. They are there to make sure it gets done with 100% efficiency. That's what they're there for. They're not there to play. They're not there to talk to you, to be your friend. They're not. They are not there to be your friend. Oh, the military they don't love you. They have orders. That's it. They have instructions that are handed down from the top, and they're going to follow them. They're not there because they love you. They're there because they're told to be there. And if you needed them to be there and they were told to leave, they would leave you standing right there, child in hand, brand newborn, sick as a dog. If they had to leave you, they will leave you. The military, they are of one mind, and that is the mission. That's it. That's it. And you're fortunate if you are involved in that mission and it's for the good. Because if you're not, then it's all bad. We have. I know most of y'all are worried about the military shooting you. The military will shoot you. They will. Okay, so this is what you have to look forward to. When people say that, you always think it's a good thing. Not so much. When they take over the supply chains, all hell is going to break out. You think people panicked over toilet paper? You haven't seen nothing yet. When they take over the supply chains, all hell is going to break out. Because the one way to stop an army is to stop its supply. They can't eat, they can't fight. The way this is going to happen is, so they're setting up these hospitals, right? Which means the military is taking over the hospitals. If you don't believe that, then just keep looking at the news and how the military operates with these makeshift places that they're setting up. And they were told to do this. Remember, I told you, engineering is going to come and do all this, all the stuff. And I told you the way they're going to talk to the president is going to be very exact. A matter of fact, the president is not very smart when it comes to these types of things. And they all know this. So they're not going to sit here and have this long, drawn out explanation like it's some hue and cry. That's not what's going to happen. They're going to come in and implement a protocol that they've already had. This is exactly what we're going to do. And the president is going to be on board. That's just going to be that. They're going to say, this is what we're going to do. They've already talked to the military people. So this is why you have a military presence. So what's going to happen is the military takes over the hospital, right? Then the military says, okay, we have a problem. Where's the problem coming from? Wherever there is ground zero, they're going to go to ground zero. And they're going to be dressed different. They're not going to come in BDUs. They're going to start dressing like there's a full-scale outbreak, which there is. But they're going to have masks, the whole, like they're in China, but they're going to be weaponized too. So you're going to have people weaponized, people who are with the whole COVID outfit on. And they're going to come and do their thing, right? Clear people out, bring people in, take people out. Your relatives can't be here if they're not sick. Get out, that type of thing, right? So once that all happens and they take over that whole thing, they're also going to say, what do we need? What do we don't need? Then you're going to see the supply chains go down. And you're going to see them being controlled. You're going to see people, all those people who worked at the supply chains that we thank and all that, boom, out. You're even going to see the truck drivers lose their job. You're going to see this. Those truck drivers are going to be taken over. And some of you are truck drivers. They're going to be taken over. Then you're going to see military trucks. You are. First, they're going to be contracted by the military. Then you're going to see the military taking over. And once this thing becomes a full-scale military operation, that's when that's when not everybody is going to have all the supplies they need. That's when you're going to see a lot of outbreaks of fights and and people who are hungry in the streets and all this other kind of stuff. Then when that happens and that comes to a fever pitch, then you have the military might that comes in and starts to quell the fever pitch. Then you have people who come getting snatched out of their homes. Uh, some of them because they're troublemakers. Some of them because they haven't followed a protocol. Some of them because they haven't because they were out past curfew and they had no reason to be. Um, and you're just going to see. We've already seen the police do this, coming in, uh, snatch people out their homes, or come in and just kill them right in their home in front of their whole family. The military is going to be different. It's going to be different. Uh, as much as the police act like the military, they're not. They don't have the military pizzazz. The military has a certain type of smell of blood to them. It's just different from the police. The police almost need an excuse to shoot you just so they don't go to jail. The military doesn't. They have a very exact way of thinking. They do. It's very exact. This is the problem. Fix it. That's the military. The reason why Trump is he was that was the military. He doesn't know all about the business. This is true. He is all about his business. Yep, they don't have the manpower. The police have always been outnumbered. The police have always been outnumbered. There's always been more of us than there are of them. But nonetheless, we obey them. Now, we do need police. We need order, is what we need. So I'm not dogging on the police. I don't like the power structure of the police. I believe that the police should be of the people, meaning that you cannot police people that you don't know. So if you got, some dude who is a complete stranger to the hood, who doesn't understand the people that live there, telling people what to do, then that causes, tension. But if you have somebody who lived there, who grandmama still lived there, and everybody know this person, the negotiation process is just a lot different. They're not quick to shoot you in the back. They're not quick to cause violence. They're It'll be more talking you down. Even if you are, kicking your girlfriend's face in right there, they're not gonna come in, even if you're heavily armed, they're not gonna, come in and just automatically mow you down. If you answer the door with a screwdriver in your hand, we've seen a guy lose his life for that. If you got your hands up and you're like, I'm not resistant, and you still die. We've seen Eric Garner die for that. We've just seen people get wiped off the planet for one guy. Willie was sleeping in his car, went to a restaurant, a drive-through, and fell asleep in the drive-through, and the police executed him in his car. So you are not going to see that if you have people who know Willie. Like, I know this kid. Like, what are you talking about? He has a gun. There's no gun. Like, just knock on the window. Willie, wake up. Yeah, go home. End of story. But the police are different. Military is even more different. Military is not going to be quick to shoot you. The military is going to give you directions. They're going to give you instructions. There's not going to be, according to the law, I don't have to do this. There's going to be, okay, that's it. It's going to be an agreement. Fine. However, if you know that they're about to put you to death, then get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there. Get your stuff, get your kid, get your wife, get your husband, and bail. Bail. That's it. That's all. Save your life, you know? But if that's not what's happening, and it is for your own good that you need to move from one place to another, then go and let the military protect you. Absolutely, 100%. If you have a place that's being overrun by violence and there isn't a strong military presence, and they come and tell you, look, you need to either leave, because if you stay, you're going to be dead as soon as we leave. And that's just that, then get your stuff together and go. Because most likely the people will not attack a military vehicle because a military vehicle is heavily armed. You do not want anything with an Abrams rolling in your area. Heck, you don't want to smell those M16s firing off. It's a good chance that if you have a weapon, it's not an automatic weapon. You have a semi-automatic weapon. If anything, they have automatic weapons with 27 bullets in each case. This is not the problem you want. So if they're there to protect you and it's abundantly obvious that you're going to be protected by them, then go with them. But if you think that they're going to suck you up and then put a stamp on you and then put that stuff inside of your blood system, then get the hell out of there. Just in the name of Jesus. No, this is not happening. Call on the power of the angels and be out of there. And that's it. That's all. We're not doing this. We're not 666, and the answer is no. And that might cost you your life. Look, I'm hoping it doesn't come to this. And I say this in all the videos. I'm not telling you guys this because I want you to be afraid. I want you to be aware. I don't think it was an accident that God put me in the army. My dad was in the army, my brother was in the army, my sister's in the army, and my nephew's in the army right now. I don't think that was an accident at all. I could have just went to college and kept going. I don't think it was an accident that I worked for the Ohio House of Representatives and seen the way some of these so-called, representative of our state were idiots. I don't think it's an accident that I saw that. Like, you are a blithering idiot. You're stupid as hell. It's not an accident that I saw that. I went to the Democratic Party and it was in a bar. I went to the Republican Party and it was in the nicest hotel and they covered 3 floors. I mean, it's just not an accident, some of the things that I've seen and been through and lived through. And I'm telling you guys this because history repeats itself. This is a formula. You know, it is. It's the same thing over and over and over again. I'm just hoping I'm wrong. But right now, it doesn't seem like it. Listen, I'm waiting to be wrong. Like, I'm not showing off. I'm not making any money off of this. This is not the Tone Show. I don't make no money off of this. I'm not getting popular. I feel you. You was young though. It ain't for everybody, man. It ain't for everybody. I had a hard time. I got out a month earlier because I was going at it with this captain. So I had a hard time with them, you know. But like I said, I'm not saying this. This is not me trying to. Like, I get nothing out of this other than telling my internet homies the truth. Like, y'all might have to snatch up your babies, get your little boy and girl, and get out of there. You might be at a point where you might have to have an escape route. And I'm just telling you to think forward. Look, I'm hoping this whole thing is over in a month, 2 months, but I just can't see it. I can't see it. I don't know that one incident where the military was called and it was over within a couple months. I can't think of one where the military was called and they didn't need their presence within a couple months. Some military presence to be seen. Not even when they marched to the Selma, Martin Luther King Day, when all those people went crazy on those black folks marching in Selma. They called in the National Guard. That was the National Guard. That wasn't the full might of the military coming in. Listen, I'm telling you, you're going to see military helicopters soon. And they're going to be armed. And I know the ones that you're going to see. You're going to see the Huey. You're going to see first one you're going to see are supply helicopters. So you're going to see Hueys. You're going to see the big double wing, the big double propeller coming and landing troops and sometimes supply. You're going to see those. And when it escalates, if people start really flipping out, then you're going to see the Blackhawks. You're going to see armed Blackhawks. You're going to see there's other assortments of helicopters, but then you're going to see, and this is one I hope never to see, even though it's fascinating. You're going to see that damn Cobra. That's not what you want to see. That's not what you want to see. You do not want to have that thing hanging 200 feet over your head, because they're not going to have a loudspeaker and telling you to go home. This thing moves at 200 miles an hour, and it can pull a bullet in every inch of that at top speed. This thing is amazing. The pilot just turns his head and the gun turns with it. He just looks and shoots. He and she. So it's technology that's far beyond anything that anyone on the street has. There's no competition. So this is if it gets bad and somebody fires on the military, which some idiot will. But that's not the problem you want. So for us regular people who are not in a militia, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at possibly having to have an escape route. If you can cross the water, cross the water. To where? I don't know. You might have to go into Mexico, for those of you who live in Texas. For those of you who live in Miami, you might have to go to Cuba. For those of you who live in Detroit, you might have to run to Canada. If they'll let you in. Right off I-90. Going up there to the Adirondack Mountains and hide in the mountains. Plenty of places to hide in the mountains. It's a beautiful place too. But it's wide open. Go up there and mind your business. And then for other people, you get away from people. If you have yourself a tent, if you got a nice tent, you know how to get it in out there? Bow and arrow. You know how to make a bow and arrow? You can get yourself a little fortress out in the middle of nowhere. And if somebody comes along, you should be able to defend yourself. And somebody will come along. They will. I know it all sounds like a movie, but it's very real. If you ever tracked down a deer before, you ever hit a deer, You ever shot a rabbit or a squirrel and eat one of those jokers? Hell, I've eaten a pigeon. It was good too. Things I had to do growing up. We were hungry. We didn't have no more food, so we went out and started hunting them right there in the city. We hunt rabbits, squirrels. I didn't eat any snakes or turtles or anything like that. But rabbits, squirrels, a couple birds. We ate them. It was good. Taught me how to live off the land. So I know it's not sexy to some of y'all. But if you have to get away from people, what are you going to do? What's your plan? What's your plan? I mean, if your home is overrun, what's your plan? What, plywood? Little drywall? Board your front door up? What's the plan? You guys got a better one, let me know. But if you can get away from people, get away. You guys got any questions before I go? I'm trying to think of where I'm going to go to. There's some wide open area up in Sunbury. It's not far from here. It's in walking distance, actually. About 10 miles north. I could walk that. Survive out there, I don't know. But yeah, it's about 10 miles north. But you would have to go about 20, 30 miles to get in an unpopulated area. To get in a woodsy area. I don't know. Anyways, you guys, God loves you, man. So do I. Peace.